Okay. You're in Zoom. Hi, Renee. And I'm going to go live on Facebook and Instagram. All right, I think I'm everywhere I want to be. So, hi, everyone. Welcome to the Circle of Light meditation. Here every Wednesday evening, 8 to 8:20-ish. And as you can tell, I have a little bit of a cold, which is why I'm a little bit later than I wanted to be. I was resting to just, recharge, re-energize. And it's interesting because today is 2/23/22, and as you all know, yesterday was a powerful day, number 2/22/22, which is the master builder number, the number of just moving forward, of creating the reality we want to create. Really special energies, and with those energies come rest. And for me, a lot of I do a lot of different things, homeschool my kids, do this work, which is a true blessing. I've been finishing up the final edits on a book I'm working on, Tools for the Awakening Soul. And so burning the candle at both ends. And when I when I need to rest, I don't always listen to that. So when I get sick, and it's just a mild cold, I am forced, and I need to listen to my body. So that's what we're experiencing in these energies around us, is just resting and integrating, because it's so strong. There's so much that we're feeling, that we're being asked to kind of integrate in our bodies, that we need to rest and just allow it to be integrated. So last night I did this amazing activation gathering, had this amazing activation gathering with my dear friend Cheryl Horton. And she's not related to me, but we have the same last name. It's just synchronistic, right? And there were 15 of us in her home, and we did a fire release with this really interesting mudra that she showed us how to do. And it looks like this. You put your fingers like this, your one finger on the third eye. And probably she's going to tell me I'm doing it wrong. And both my fingers are here. And you just hold it like that. Actually, in my dominant hand, then you hold your non-dominant hand, the back of the base of your spine. And it's a powerful release. So we did that, wrote down what we wanted to release on some pieces of paper, left some tobacco in the fire. It was an offering to the fire. And it was just a silent fire release ceremony. And then I led us in a activation, and we had these really powerful ascended masters with us. And it didn't even matter who they were, but they were there. Archangels were there. And we also had a potluck ahead of time, just really beautiful connection. So I wanted to do a meditation today because the energies are still with us, and we're seeing, it's very interesting things happening in the world right now. And as I say this, it's interesting because while we're aware of what's happening in the 3D world with these various world governments and local governments and state governments and national governments, implementing various restrictions, taking away restrictions. It's like a game, right? It's a big game. And while we if we try to give too much to what they're doing, and we try to look into it too much, it can lead us astray, because it is a game. Ultimately, what we are being asked to do is just focus on the internal. And when we connect with our internal selves, and we align our vibrations with our highest and best selves, which is, how do we do that? We bring in light, we focus on gratitude, on the present moment, a lot of different ways, nature. Then we create this version of our own reality for ourselves, and then our external world, regardless of what's happening in the world scale, the larger scale, for ourselves, and create an internal reality, an external reality that we can live in, and that those around us can live in. this isn't to say, we turn a blind eye to what's happening, and for those, especially those who are suffering from various restrictions or various, losses of freedom, of rights. And of course, there's a lot of other suffering happening beyond that, what's happening to children, um, and all kinds of things. We won't get into all of that. A lot of you know. But what the ultimately, when we connect with our hearts and with light, the divine light that's with us, we can be guided as to what is in our highest good, when it is in our highest good to act, and when we just focus on aligning with light and with the peace in our bodies. And sometimes that is the ultimate, most helpful thing for us to do, is to come from a place of love and healing, because love, again, is the highest vibrational frequency there is. So, so that's what we're here to do this evening, and that's what I'm going to guide us in this evening, is to really learn how, or bring in the focus and intention of building our own internal reality for ourselves, or our own internal, like, alternate reality, I should say, and then our external reality starts to mirror that. I was just saying to my husband today, or was it last night, after our light body activation that I guided us in, which I obviously benefit from myself, I feel just so blessed and so grateful that our lives are what we have created, what I had visualized, what we both had visualized. And we live in a homestead. Today was just a beautiful day where it was 60 degrees in Maine, probably even warmer than that. And just the streams were flowing near our house. We were boiling sap that we had just tapped from the maple trees. Chickens were out running around. Our dog was out. We just took a break from homeschooling for the day, and we just hung out. And I was like, this is it. This is what we love. We love doing that. We just love being here in the land and with each other. And then last night I was blessed to be with a lot of like-minded souls. And so I look around, I'm like, this is what we have created, is this way of being that I feel so blessed to be in. It doesn't mean everything's perfect, but there's things in my life I'd like to be a little bit different. But mostly those are things, relationships with a few other people in my life. But there's not much we can't control what other people do, right? We can only control how we respond. And ultimately, when it comes down to it, I used to get seasonal depression growing up in Maine. And, I would just, oh man, the winters were just brutal, brutal, brutal. It was like, I just could not stand the winter. And we would, we'd go away to get somewhere warm, but I would just dread February and March. It's just like a slog. And now I love winter. I love it now. We just, we do winter activities. And I think that's because I've worked so much on just my vibration and my spiritual practice, that that even if it's cold and the wind's blowing and, it's like a dreary day, there's an internal light, there's an internal focus that I try to bring into my life, that allows me to just feel the blessing and appreciate the blessing in every moment as much as I can. Not every single day, of course, but it's just it's a beautiful place when we can get to that. It's a beautiful experience when we can get to that place. So let's do that here. I'm going to keep my talk a little bit shorter today, because I'm going to go to bed early. All right, so let's begin and do a little meditation. So you can close your eyes. Oops, there's some people waiting to get in. Let them in. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Slow exhale out. Do that a few more times, just breathing in deeply. Hold. Slow, slow exhale. The wind is blowing outside me now, and I can imagine my breath is flowing out like the wind. One more deep breath in, bringing in that swirling sensation of wind in your body. And then slowly, slowly letting the air out. Anchoring in. Getting quiet. And just notice what's happening in your body in this moment, what you're feeling in this moment. Notice your belly rising and falling. Notice your heart beating. And notice what's around you. Maybe there's some sounds in the space around you, or maybe you are aware of silence in the space around you, but there's probably a few sounds. Just see if you can just observe those sounds without attaching any judgment to them as being good or bad, just observing them. Notice the feeling of your body touching the surfaces that you're sitting on or that any part of your body's touching. Notice any smells that you're aware of, any aromas. So what we're doing in this moment is bringing our awareness to the external and our place in that external world. And this is how most of us have been trained to operate in our lives, is fitting in to the external environment. But the way of being that we are asked or being asked to step into is the opposite. And this takes training and a learning, and it is creating an internal environment, an internal ecosystem in which we can thrive. And then the vibrational waves we give off, high frequency waves that we give off from that internal thriving, those waves are emitted into our environment, and as is one of the quantum laws of physics, the laws of resonance, the law of vibration, like attracts like, and we will begin to attract experiences and in turn repel experiences, people, things like that, that are either aligned or not aligned with our vibrational state. And this is extremely important for us to learn because it is how things work. Once we understand that when we give off the vibration of love, we receive back love. When we give off the vibration of believing we're abundant, we receive back abundance. And the converse is true as well. If we give off fear, we receive back fear. If we give off anger, we receive back anger. If we give off lack, we receive back lack. We can fake it till we make it. We can pretend that we are feeling one of these things, even if we don't really feel it, and it still becomes true. That's the beauty, that's the magic. So, in alignment with these energies that are with us right now, this time, 2022, and especially now, right around the master builder number sequence of twos, we have the ability to manifest, to create our realities more than ever before. So take advantage of this opportunity and begin to imagine how you would feel living in the highest and best possible way you can imagine. What would it feel like to be content, to wake up in the morning and be satisfied with your life in every way, to be grateful for things, for people, for opportunities, for resources around you? What would it be like to love yourself unconditionally in all that you are? What would it feel like to feel and know that you are in the flow, that you trust your intuition to guide you in each moment? And even when things get bumpy, you are able to ride the wave. What would it feel like to know that you have mastered your mind, that you have mastered learning the lessons which you are here to learn in this incarnation and in every incarnation? You would be so proud of yourself. You would be relieved. You would be grateful. You would feel peace. You would deeply trust in yourself. So begin to feel these feelings for a few moments. Maybe you can generate some images of seeing yourself as if you already, maybe you already are, seeing yourself being like this. See your face, see your body, see what's around you. Maybe you feel or hear words. Energy moves upon the spoken and written word. So maybe you just think those words to do that. Whatever way you can generate a vibration of creating your own internal reality for yourselves, seizing these energies that are with us, channeling and harnessing these energies to become that which you truly are. And there are so many archangels and ascended masters and galactic beings that are with us, that are surrounding you right now, just watching you, cheering you on, knowing that you are remembering how strong you are as this beautiful luminescent being of light, a piece of God. Take a moment to feel into this vibration of the highest version of you. I'll take a few moments here. You can imagine this alternate reality that is unfolding being shown to you on a pillar of light in front of your face, almost as if you're looking at a screen. And just feel that image of you actually getting closer to you. And maybe you even become one with that image of you, stepping into her or his eyes. Take a moment and do that at your own pace. Feel yourself now expanding out, filling up that space, elevating yourself, pushing up, pushing out, taking up your righteous space as your highest self. The goal in life is self-actualization, and that may mean enlightenment for some. But self-actualization is becoming that which we are capable of, learning our lessons, moving past doubt, moving past fear, believing in ourselves, believing in our abilities to learn from mistakes, believing and taking action to challenge ourselves, to push ourselves to the places that give us pause, that we may feel scared and wonder if we are enough. It is those places, those risks outside of our comfort zones where we step into magic, into becoming the masters, into mastery, self-mastery, which is why ascended masters are called such, because they have self-reach, self-actualization, and evolved beyond the lower self, beyond the ego. And so that is what we were doing, moving beyond the lower self. So feel yourself taking up that space, moving closer to your higher self. Your higher self is guiding the way with the ego behind. Feel yourself expanding in light, being pulled forward by your heart with humility, with simplicity, with deep grounded connection and anchoring into your body, deep connection with the earth, and always deep gratitude for your being a vessel of light in a human body, and for being here to help shift consciousness at this pivotal time in human history. So let's take a moment, take a deep breath, and bring your hands in prayer position to your heart center if you like, just honoring yourself, honoring your divine guides, honoring God, honoring any other source of love that you would like. Let's do a silent prayer this time. So silently just asking for guidance and support along your path, whatever way feels right for you. Giving thanks. It's always good to smile, stretch, come back into your body, give yourself a nice hug if you like, and then open your eyes. All right. Well, I hope that was helpful in some way. It's different than what I did last night. We did a lot more. I wish I'd recorded the meditation. I did a lot more Ascended Master stuff last night, but tonight was a little more, what I was feeling guided to do was a little more practical. We could say, bringing the left brain and the right brain together, which is really what we're doing with the ego and the higher self, and really bringing all of our, everything into focus, like bringing all of our intentions, all of our visualizations into real life. So your next task would be to take action. So reach out to someone, explore an idea, take a risk, do something that you may not normally do. That's a magical thing. Actually, my mother said that to me once, and that's how I met my husband, because he wasn't my type. And she said, just what's the worst that can happen? Just try it. And all I had to do was ask my friend, what's Chris up to? When I saw her, and she told somebody and they called him up, and we met up, and the rest is history. So you never know what will happen when you push yourself beyond that comfortable place. So, all right. Thank you for joining me as always. If one thing I was thinking is what we were, what the exercise I was doing there with the pillar of light, viewing your future self, is actually an exercise we do in the Akashic Records. And one thing you can do in the Akashic Records is not only view your future self. It's, whenever I do readings for people, there's always this future that comes up at the end. And it's not a definite future. I mean, I tell people that pretty clear. This is not guaranteed to happen, but it's the highest and best possible timeline that you're shown. So you can do that in the Akashic Records if you learn how to read your own Akashic Records. And you can also program a future you want to have happen in the Akashic Records. And that's kind of what we did here. Well, we probably did a little bit of both. If you just picked up on something, you're probably viewing your potential future. But if you, took some time, maybe ahead of time, outside of the Akashic Records, and you wrote down what you wanted, there's things you kind of consciously know you want to create in your life, you can take that vision. Some of you who work with me or have done work with me, I always use this tool I created called the Future Self Vision, where you write down positive present tense, how you want to feel. All very powerful. It's on my website if you want anyone who wants to download it for free under resources. And you create it outside of the records, describing how it would feel, and then you go back into your Akashic Records and program it in that pillar of light. And what I mean by programming it in is just visualize it, call it to memory while you're in the Akashic Records, and set the intention that it's going to be imprinted in your future. And then you kind of can ask, how do I move towards this? What action steps can I take to get towards this this future? So it's pretty amazing what can come up. I just did a reading for somebody this morning, and that's one of the exact questions she asked: is what can I do to become, what action steps can I take? So, and I'm trying to remember what they said. It's always the same. It's start with your own life. Start by doing the inner work. What are you doing that helps yourself? Often that's how we're going to be of service to others, is what we have done that helps ourselves, that helps us, is how we're then kind of being called to help others. So keep that in mind for those of you who are thinking to start spiritual businesses, as I know a lot of you are, and some of you are in that program with me, the 10-month program, the Intuitive Guide program. That's what we're being asked to do. So, and it's possible. So it just takes some, inner work, moving through the ego, taking risks, all that stuff. So, all right. But the reason I mentioned this is that I'm teaching an Akashic Records class. So if you want to learn how to read your own Akashic Records, super powerful, super healing. I say it all the time, but it is the number one tool that I have to that, and my lovely business coach Heidi, she might even be here listening, and my husband, he helps too. There's a number one tool for me to connect with what is for my highest and best, the highest and best thing I can do, choices I can make, actions I can take in my business and life. It's hard to explain how absolutely incredibly healing and powerful it is. So if you're interested in learning how to read your Akashic Records and receiving your own healing, connecting with ancestors, connecting with past lives, viewing and programming future selves, there's obviously ascended masters in there, there's galactic beings in there, there's very fascinating stuff that can come up. I'm teaching a class starting the end of March called How to Read Your Akashic Records. It's an online class, 6 sessions, 2 hours on, what day is it? I think it's Thursday, late morning, Eastern Standard Time. And I'll teach you how to do it. And you'll get a little certificate of how to read people's Akashic Records. So we'll be practicing doing readings. So, all right, I'll put the link in here. As after I'm done, I'll go back and edit it as I always do. So in the meantime, wishing you many blessings. Stay the course. Focus on the light. Focus on the reality that we're creating. It's a beautiful time to be alive. Okay, bye everyone.